Greetings and Happy New Year, everybody. I'm Ephraim225, and I'm starting off this year with a brand new playthrough. It's a little difficult to explain, however. This is probably going to be a total train wreck like the Dual Strike playthrough, but let's just get right into it. Obviously, this is the menu screen from Advance Wars Days of Ruin. Now, for a long time, I wanted to play Days of Ruin on my channel, but I thought if I just played through it normally, it would end up just like every other playthrough of Days of Ruin, because this game doesn't have a hard mode or anything. So, but there was one thing I could do, and I decided to just go ahead and do it. I'll just let the title screen speak for itself. Welcome to Advance Wars Days of Ruin, but also welcome to Advance Wars Dark Conflict. So, what's going on here? Well, the fourth and final Advance Wars game, up to this point anyways, is a little bit interesting in that there were two separate translations of it. Days of Ruin is the North American translation, and Dark Conflict is the European translation. In English, of course. They probably translated Dark Conflict into other languages after that. And that means there's going to be differences between these two games. And, it's interesting because Days of Ruin is actually, it's a more standard North American localization as far as localizations go. Dark Conflict is a more direct translation of the original Japanese game. So, we actually have two radically different translations of the game. And, there's always that big debate over how faithful you should be to the original script, like if liberties are able to be taken with localization. So I think we have these two different translations. I think doing a side-by-side comparison of them by having two separate games playing at the same time on the same screen, I think that would be interesting to do, or it could just be a total train wreck. You never know. So let's go ahead and get into it. So, I'm obviously going to be switching to just one screen at a time for the actual gameplay part, but for story segments, you're going to be able to see Days of Ruin on the top screen and Dark Conflict on the bottom screen. So I will just let the text go, and I will make observations as we see it unfold. So here we go. It's also interesting because Days of Ruin is it has... What's the word I'm looking for? It has the best narrative out of the four games, I would say. Story was much more important to the writers than it was in the previous games. The previous games were all cartoony and stuff, so story wasn't really a big thing. But here, we're starting with a post-apocalyptic setting, which, was controversial at the time because it was such a huge shift from cartoony Advance Wars. But it actually created a really good narrative, in my opinion, so that's going to be nice. As you can see in Dark Conflict, it says, what will come next? No one can answer that, which is kind of generic-y. So, for the opening text here, I think Days of Ruin is making a good first impression. It's a translation. Also, the first chapter is called Days of Ruin in Days of Ruin. Oh, boy. This is a total train wreck, but I'm going to go with it anyways. So we can see that Will is named Ed in Dark Conflict. Guess that's all right. Also, the screens are side by side instead of top to bottom. I should probably change that because it makes Will look really weird here because his bottom half is... Oh, we have actually one extra text box in Days of Ruin. That's very interesting. So I'll just wait for it to sync back up. Here we go. So yes, oh yeah, more text. As you can see, I think Will is written to be more desperate in the Days of Ruin translation. Ed seems to be kind of just, well, the words he is saying, they're trying to stay calm, but he's obviously not that calm. And the beast in Dark Conflict is known as Drakov. I don't know why I put an accent on that. I believe they've written the beast to be even more psycho than Drakov was. So finally we have gameplay. That didn't take long. I don't think you have time for that, Will. Like, you should probably just try and get away as quickly as possible. Also, I prefer playing with the graphics zoomed out. On a map this small, it's probably not that important to... Oh, what happened? Oh, I desynced. Oops. I guess that can happen sometimes. I have to try and keep these in sync, because I don't want to mess up the entire point of this playthrough. So yes, I'm going to keep the double screen thing for now, because the opening missions are mostly tutorial and stuff. So now we have our protagonist characters. Brenner and Lynn are known as O'Brien and Lynn in Dark Conflict. So Lynn kept her name, that's interesting. So far, it's kind of similar. They're just written a little differently in the North American translation. Ah, yes. Meteors are the cause of the apocalypse in this setting, which led to a lot of theorizing that Sturm caused it somehow. In fact, in my ROM hack Advance Wars Alpha, I did in fact write it such that, well, it wasn't Sturm who caused it in Advance Wars Alpha, but, you know, the fact that it was meteors led a lot of people to think of Sturm. We can see that O'Brien is a bit more angry, less calm, I would say. Lynn's a bit more wordy in Dark Conflict. It's interesting. Alright, so we finally have gameplay. You know how Advance Wars works at this point. Oh, I've left the animations on, too. Kind of looks cool when you have, like, 4 screens going on at the same time. So let's go into Options, and Battle Animations, off. Map Animations, also off. I'm not gonna keep the grid. So do I just, There we go. So yes, a new mechanic in Days of Ruin is the leveling up system. It's kind of like the level ups in Super Famicom Wars and Game Boy Wars 3, except it's strictly 1 kill equals 1 level, and there's a max of 3 levels. There's no experience point system. 1 kill equals 1 level, which is nice and simple. It's probably all you really need for Advance Wars. So that's good. There's a bunch of tutorial text that comes up. I actually don't like this tutorial text much at all. It just, like, kind of dumps a bunch of stuff that you have to read without, like, really walking you through it, which, you know, this is why I don't like putting a tutorial in the campaign itself. I prefer to just have, like, a separate field training thing like Advance Wars 1. Since talking about the tutorials. Oh, and we should actually go into the, where would it be? Mission info? Yes, the War Room. Known as the Briefing Room in Dark Conflict. I think this is good. You've got to see this section if you play Days of Ruin at all. You have to do this. I'm going to be focused on the Dark Conflict script, personally, because I'm more used to the Days of Ruin script, so I want to see what's different. Oh, is there an extra text box? Yeah, there is. Cool. Yes, Lynn is definitely more wordy in Dark Conflict, even in these War Room parts. These are really funny, by the way. I'm gonna show them in every mission. Yeah, I think the consensus online is that people like the Days of Ruin script a lot better, because it's actually willing to change stuff from the Dark Conflict script. But, I've already seen that there are positives to the Dark Conflict script as well. It almost got desynced. So I'm going to, like, explore those as we go. So, yes. Oh, and the scoring system changed a little bit too. You can see that we now have a maximum score of 450 points instead of 300, but you just need 300 in order to get an S rank. I don't really like this because on some maps like this one, it's actually impossible to get the maximum score, which is going to annoy people. People who go for the maximum score anyways. Like, an S rank is still an S rank, and I'm hopefully going to get all S ranks. I don't always do that, but you never know. I think I'm going to do 2 missions per video, because this first mission has already taken 12 minutes, probably because I just had to keep talking at stuff. Oh, does Dark Conflict have an extra text box? Okay. Yeah, Will's explaining it in a different order from Ed. Okay, then. There's that extra text box for Days of Ruin. Also, Rubinel in Dark Conflict is called Laurentia, which is weird. The deal with Rubinel is that the name comes from Ruby, as in red, because it's the Red Army. And the second country that we run into is going to be named after Lapis Lazuli, which is a blue gem because it's the Blue Army. Yeah, I'm getting ahead of the story a little bit here. Canned bread. Squidward would love that. What is so interesting about canned bread anyways? Alright, so we have our map screen, and you can zoom out to see all the missions at once, but if you zoom in, you will see just the missions nearest to the cursor. So let's go ahead and start Mission 2. A Single Life. Now, I like the Days of Ruin title better. It's more dramatic. See, One Life sounds like a direct translation. Like, I bet if I looked at the Japanese script, like, that's what you would see. But in English, there are ways of making it more poetic, I suppose. Oh, and speaking of the Japanese script, the various translations to other languages are all present on the same cartridge. So there's a Japanese script in your English Days of Ruin cartridge, which is interesting because this game, it took them half a decade to actually release this in Japan. Like, in North America and Europe, this came out in 2008. In Japan, they had to wait until 2013, even though a translation was ready to go on the cartridge. Oh, extra text box. Ashes to ashes. Whatever that means. So yes, it's so weird. It's one of the big mysteries of Advance Wars. There are a lot of mysteries surrounding Advance Wars, actually. So, yes, it took half a decade for Japan to be able to even play this, and they had to be a member of Club Nintendo, or whatever that service was. So this was only downloadable on, like, DSi. It's really, really... I don't understand it. Like, I think that's a big hindrance to the popularity of Advance Wars, because remember, Advance Wars 1 and 2 were delayed until 2004 in Japan as well. So, really, they're not exactly... I don't know, I think they're kind of, like, self-harming Advance Wars? I don't really know. Because we know that, actually, they haven't announced a Japanese release date for the Reboot Camp remake as well. So that's also interesting. Is Japan just not going to get it? Like, I don't think that's going to help the series at all. It's kind of important for the series to remain popular in its home country. Because that's the only way, well, not the only way, because obviously Reboot Camp exists, but that would be a big help in actually getting more Advance Wars games. And I've been completely ignoring this cutscene. Just because I wanted to talk about that for a little bit. Oh, this line is exactly the same. The soldier in Dark Conflict seems much more shaken. Ah yes, more bandits. You know what? I always joke about Fire Emblem always starting out with bandit attacks, because that's the most basic enemy you can find in a setting like that, but I suppose Days of Ruin wanted to get in on the action as well. In fact, I'm pretty sure that they chose the name The Beast for this guy in Days of Ruin because they were naming him after Bada the Beast from Fire Emblem 7. I mean, it's possible, but it's just a guess. It's funny. That's always nice. Alright, so gameplay again. Hello again. So, after playing through Mission 2, I realized that I had completely forgotten to look at the war room for this mission. So I'm going to go ahead and do that before starting on Mission 3. Just get that out of the way so I don't forget completely later. I'll remember in the other missions to do this. So don't worry. I mean, who would look at this in the tutorial levels, right? Alright, so what brilliant advice do they give for this mission? Oh, so there's actually more text in Days of Ruin for this war room. Okay, so that's that. Not much to that war room. But at least I remembered to show... I think there's still going to be more cutscenes than gameplay in this mission, so I will just, leave the screen as is again. Alright, here we go. Oh geez, I just realized that luck damage can cause my two games to desync. I'll have to... Well, I hope that won't be too much of an issue. Alright, so move the artillery. Mech gun! This is... How do I get rid of the tutorials? X button, right? Oh, my X and Y buttons are actually, like, swapped around. It's weird. So yes, the artillery is called the mech gun in Dark Conflict. That doesn't make sense. I'm pretty sure the word for it is artillery in any country. What about the other units? Recon, bike, motorbike in Dark Conflict. Okay then. And infantry, and we haven't seen a mech yet, I think. Like a mechanized infantry. What is the mech gonna be called in Dark Conflict? Alright, now it's time for us to... Oh, cursor's desynced. Ah, that phrase. That phrase is going to come up a lot in both games. So they didn't change that phrase. Maybe it was there in Japan, too. Come to think of it, how did this girl get here? I don't think they ever answered that. Mysterious amnesiac girl, this definitely hasn't been done in fiction before. Oh. Okay. Cutscene's over. Alright, back to gameplay. Get rid of you, and I'm actually not going to fire because the recon is going to pull back and the tank can do damage to my tank if that happens. My tank is out of ammo, so it's stuck with just a regular machine gun. The number's different. 1.3 million. Well, about 1.3 million either way. A century? Is this gonna end up like that 1,000-year-long war in, like, Feta, the Emblem of Justice? Yeah, I haven't read this in so long. It's actually weird going back to it, especially in the Dark Conflict translation. Yeah, I hope I'm not too quiet when I'm reading this, because I kind of have to put some attention into reading. Alright, so where were we? I'm gonna get rid of that tank first and foremost. Whoops. Did not mean to do that. Alright. Maybe I should come up with a better solution than trying to, like, synchronize the two games. Talking about fuel now, because the cursor's in different positions in Days of Ruin, I've noticed. Maybe that's just me making an error. Oh no! What have I done? Uh-oh. Luckily this is a tutorial mission, but... Oh my goodness. Okay. Do this, and turn. I figured this was going to turn into a train wreck. My Dark Conflict score is going to be worse. No, my Days of Ruin score is going to be worse. Come on. The artillery's in the same position. Thank you. Okay, it's over. We're safe. Maybe I'm going to have to play through the Dark Conflict version of the map off screen, but then I would want to get all the cutscenes. Oh dear. Well, it's an S rank on both games, so we're clear. Brenner calls her sweetie in Days of Ruin. Alright, so that's it for Mission 2, and I'm going to bring this video to a close for now. And next time we will go on to Mission 3, Freehaven in Days of Ruin, the Closed Village in Dark Conflict. So I hope this seems like an interesting playthrough idea. It's probably going to be a total train wreck, but you never know. I need to remap all of my controller buttons because I don't know what the start button is on right now. But regardless, I'll just go ahead and save, and next time we will continue on with the story. So, see you later for that, everybody. This is going to be so messy. But that's what makes it fun, right?